Welcome to another episode of the Headlight Restoration Pro, where I'll be showing you how to take headlights that look like this and also the fog lights that look like this and turn them into something like this. Flawless, picture perfect, better than
Damn, son, that's pimpin'.
And by the way, these are some of the hugest headlights, if not the biggest headlight out there that you can possibly do. Stay tuned.
The Headlight Restoration Pro.
Top-notch quality.
High-performing headlights can help a driver identify a potential hazard in just 2 seconds, while it could take up to 6 seconds with poor lights.
Let's get down to business. Okay, so I've done a tremendous amount of vehicles, and I have done a large amount of these as well. And believe it or not, you probably haven't thought about it if you're a restorer or just a normal person interested in headlight restoration. But this vehicle, if you can see, generally typically has the largest headlight that you will probably ever do. This headlight is massive. Right now, you're only seeing about half of it. It goes up another halfway up. Okay, so you got to think about it. Like, look at that. Cross that out and cross that out. Each light is about the size of 3 medium lights and maybe 4 small lights, and the size of 2 very large lights. Okay, not even regular large lights, but if you cut this in half, you'd still have a very large light. So what I like to do is envision that I'm going to be working on this light in quarters in far as supply-wise, okay? You don't want to go into it and think, I'm just going to be running on here, this and that. You're going to get frustrated. You kind of got to think in quarters. How many, how much supplies am I going to use on this, part of the light here and this quarter of this light here, because it's the size of 4, normal lights or whatnot, or 3 medium-sized lights. Really big, and it is an SUV, so it has a medium hard headlight structure because of its broadness. Okay, they make them a little bit harder. The chemical, or better yet, the composition of the headlight, they make it a little bit harder just for durability. Okay, underneath, not the clear coat or anything like that, but the actual headlight, because of the size and because of the broadness. So as you saw, I did a little test spot with a P500, and of course it's not working out, and it wouldn't work out because it's just too big. I would have to use probably even if it came off good enough, probably 10, 12 P500s just to get all this stuff out. So of course I'm up in the notch with a 320, a P320. And I plan on using a couple of these to get the surface off. Let me show you this right here. You see how, the trigger control is? I'm getting a lot of questions about the trigger control and what speed I go on. Look at that. That's on the first, setting or whatever, the high setting. But look how I can control the speed and the tempo of the drill. Okay, in concern of how or what direction I use, it's a direction. It's to the left or to the right in concerns to headlight restoration. When you're drilling on the wall, or actually drilling, a screw into the wall or something like that, or out of the wall, one way is going to be, impacting in the wall, and the other way is going to be removing it from the wall. Or whatever it is, a bolt or whatever. But when it comes to headlight restoration, it's just right or left. It makes no difference which way you're going, with the exception of that certain lights are going to have certain angles that make it difficult for you, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, to go a certain way. So you're going to want to adjust to whatever your preference is, and that changes throughout the headlight, okay? And if you're going to get one of these power blowers that I have here, it's very much recommended doing this method. You don't necessarily have to have it, but it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. And if you want to keep it in good condition, go ahead and get that case as well. All of my supplies and all of my different potions or whatnot are labeled and listed in the bio for purchase, or just to look at, so you can get the specs on it. You don't even have to purchase nothing. You can go somewhere else, but I do go through Amazon for all my stuff, which is all my links. or Amazon, and it's just Amazon is a trusted partner. I don't work for Amazon. I don't do nothing like that. I'm not contracted by them or nothing. It's just pretty much a trusted partner. If you get something from Amazon, you can return it. If something's wrong, you can guarantee Amazon's not ripping you off. They're not selling you bunk stuff. They're not doing nothing like that. When you go to certain other places out there on the internet, I mean, what do you know it's gonna get? What are you gonna get? Amazon's not gonna hijack your credit card and all these other crazy things that's going on. So that's what I choose. I wouldn't put that out there for people to use those links if I thought there was some chance that might happen. Okay, so this is what I use because I don't want that happening to me. So that's why I go through Amazon, and that's why I'm repping their links or whatever. Besides that, their prices are always amazing. It's very rare that I can find any of my supplies or anything in life to be cheaper than on Amazon, believe it or not. I've tried to go through 3M Direct. I've tried to go through Meguiar's Direct. I've tried to go through all these places direct where I get my ongoing supplies, not like my drills and stuff like that, but the stuff that I have to replenish all the time, like my pads and discs and my polishes and compounds and things like that, my stuff for washing the cars or whatever, and doing other stuff, right? Nothing compare. The quotes that I got and the prices that I got, it didn't compare to Amazon. And that's pretty much why Amazon puts everything out of business, because it's like, why am I going to go out there and go, why am I going to go to this place and go, hunt for this, and I'm going to drive 5 miles or 5 miles back and, blah, 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 when I can just, click and purchase it for cheaper and it gets brought to my doorstep, So I'm just saying, this is what I do. If you want to do something else, go ahead. But like I said, if you want to know the information, you can just click on any of those links and it'll take you into it, and it will show you, like say for instance this drill, it'll show you the torque, it'll show you the weight, it'll show you all these information and these things that people might want to know before they make a purchase, whether it's there or somewhere else. You don't have to buy anything, okay? It's suggested to, because you're not going to find a better price, and it's not you're not going to find a safer place. So anyhow, back to the light. Just wanted to clear that up, a little disclaimer, because I had a couple of people asking about the links in the bio or whatever, and I just want to clear that up too for them. Everything's in the bio and more. But as you see here, I'm changing pads left to right. I got this fan on here as well, and if you can kind of pay attention to what I'm doing, I'm moving from one spot to another spot to this spot to that spot, because such a big light is going to take an excessive amount of grinding. Plus, the harder the pads that you use, the 320s, the 220s, the P220s, and all that stuff like that, you're going to produce a larger amount of heat. Okay, and for headlight health and safety, you don't want it to get too hot. So when you're dealing with something like this that is just big, and one area is going to be half the light is going to be multiple areas and concerns of half the light is going to be the size of damn near 2 lights, right? So it's a heat thing where I keep the fan on it at all times, and this is one way you can use the fans as well. And also it blows all the dust and debris away at the same time when you keep the fan on it. So that's a hell of a pro tip too. I've never told you guys about. Sometimes I do this. But as you see, I adjusted the camera, and now you have the top half of the light. See how damn enormous this shit. This motherfucker is huge. This shit is so big. It's like you have to have patience. And, obviously, I mean, you guys do what you want. I don't really discuss business too much. In the future, I might have, one of those subscription things where I specifically will answer whatever little questions you guys have about business or whatever. But as far as now, it's just about the actual headlight process and how to get your game up and how to get your bases, your meat and potatoes, your main function, your skill up. Okay, so later down the road, maybe so, but obviously this is not going to cost as much as regular light. This thing is 3 times bigger, and it's a medium hard light, and it's going to take a lot longer. And also on this video, as you saw, a bonus, this is also a fog light video. So I'm doing all 4 lights in the front of the vehicle. I'm doing the fog lights that are underneath each light. But with this light here, this is a, once again, it's a 2012, Escalade, Cadillac Escalade. And it has never had headlight restoration, and all of the clear coat is gone. So right now what I'm doing is just kind of reconditioning or resurfacing the surface of the polycarbonate or the surface of the headlight, because there's no clear coat to remove. So what you're seeing I'm removing now is the damage that has brought upon from not having clear coat on it, also from not having clear coat on it in driving, and this one had a specific kind of impacting or whatnot, because these customers, or this customer, it was a husband and wife or whatever, they live in a city a couple cities over. I drove here about 40-50 miles to do these headlights because they wanted me to do it. They didn't trust the people around their way, so I drove in probably about an hour and 15 minutes to do this job here. And believe it or not, it's way out in the country. Okay, everybody has a city where you drive far enough and there's like country roads and fields of crops and shit and farms. Yeah, that's what this was. This is out on a farm. There's like, I don't know what he said, like acres and acres and like miles of, I don't know if they said sassafras or some shit, some kind of plant that they're growing. And his nearest neighbor was probably behind me in the direction facing away from the lights, probably about damn near a mile away. And, it's up on a dirt road and all this stuff. I had to drive 5 miles an hour to get there because the rims on my vehicle ain't really made for that. And it'd be dangerous to drive fast with, the kind of rims I have, far as braking my shit, which I wouldn't try to do. So anyways, just a fun fact, this is way away from my city. It's about an hour and 15 minutes away, there and back. I get this a lot. I get this a couple times a year when somebody is like, yeah, I don't care, I don't care about the mobile fee. I don't care about if it's, if I got to pay you more to come out here. I want you to do my lights, and I don't trust, these guys around here. And this guy told me this, and this guy told me it would cost, damn near the same as you, but it would take, 15 minutes to do the job, and I don't trust that. And I'm like, yeah, he's about to polish your shit right the fuck up. And it's like, you were about to be hella mad in 2 months. Yeah, so he chose right. I told him he chose right. And it's all about I don't talk about business or whatever, but you got to get your portfolio up, and you got to get your skills up before anything. Before anything, you have to get your skills up, and that's what this channel is about. If you can't show somebody like, hey, this is what their vehicle looked like before, and this is what it looked like after I touched it, and then they look at it and
damn,
like,
that's good.
Nice.
I want you to do my headlights.
Show that, because you're not good enough to show that, it's not going to matter no matter what you do, no matter how smooth you talk or whatever. Even though, there's a lot more to business or getting sales or getting anything like that. Hell of a lot more than just your skill. It's all about showmanship and things like that as well. But if you don't have the skill, that's like the legs to stand on. You know what I'm saying? You can't stand without legs, right? So it's like you just have to get it up, and that's what this channel is about. If you pay attention, if you read the comments or whatever, there's endless people on there that get it and stick it, and they're like, man, I did this and I got this and I got these people calling me, and I've done 17 cars already, and everyone comes out perfect. Every single one comes out perfect, and all the customers love it. All the people love it. There's numerous people. There's dozens upon dozens, if not hundreds, in the comments in different videos that are, saying that. There's some people that just can't get it, and the thing is not everybody's going to be able to get things. If everybody can do everything in the world, could you imagine that? If everybody can be LeBron James, if everybody was walking around like Mike Tyson, if everybody could be Elon Musk or freaking, Jeff Bezos, I mean, what would the world be like? It'd be like a messed up Matrix. In fact, on that movie, they said they had it like that on the Matrix, when everybody could just have what they want. On the first Matrix, they said it failed. Of course it would fail. It wouldn't be, it would be nothing. So, not everything is meant for somebody to be good at. You just, if you can't stick this, maybe try something else. But 9 times out of 10, if you can't stick this, you just might not be meant to do this, because this is extremely easy. This is extremely easy. This method is very user friendly. You're using tools and power tools to do the work, okay? Which will, if you do it correctly, listen to what I'm saying, which will give you a outcome in the end, you know, every single time, though, you know, correctly, or will, if you do it correctly, will give you the perfect outcome every time. You'll get, you know, the same outcome every time, very consistent, because you're using the tools and you're using pretty much a mathematical sequence. Math is a science. You put 1 + 1, it's always going to equal 2. Okay, no matter what, you know. So I'm saying that's what's going on here. This step plus that step plus this step. You're gonna get that, you know, that level 10 headlight restoration, that top-notch headlight restoration if you listen. But the thing with human nature, as I always say, is everybody wants to change something. Everybody thinks they're smarter than the smartest man in the world, right? You know, everybody thinks they can, you know, the best in the world. If I change it like this, that's why you have people, old men sitting on the couch saying, "Oh my God, what did he do? What did he do? What did Steph Curry do? Why did he shoot the ball like that? I would have just..." Shut the fuck up. You can't even make a 3-point shot from 2 feet in front of the basket. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's human nature to think that you can do better just because you're viewing something, okay, which is not always the case. All right. And the thing with this is a lot of people change stuff. What if I just use this drill and this, that, and this, that, and you're changing something. To change something successfully about any process, you have to understand the process. So a lot of people are changing stuff and don't understand the process. See, I can do everybody's process, and I can do change anything about my process and make it come out probably the same if I work hard enough, because I understand everything. If you don't understand it, why would you even mess with it? And that's the problem that some people have. In the comments you'll see like, I did this and I did that and I used everything, and then I'm like, did you really use everything? Think about it, you know. And they'll say it, they'll tell on themselves, they'll be like, I used a 500, I used 800. Were they P? Did they have a P in the front? No, they were 500. Well, okay, well look, you know that's not the same. Yeah, I know it's not the same, but I mean it's the same. And no, it's not the same. It equals a totally different denomination. It's not the same, you know. So just, you know, do what I'm doing, and if you're not, when in doubt, get the exact same shit that I'm using. Get the exact same thing and do it, and then see what happens. But even then, people are like, okay, I did this, and then I wet sanded, and then I did this, and then I dry sanded, and then I did this, and I peed on it, and I rubbed my butt on it, and it came out foggy. I don't know what happened. It's because I don't do all that shit. I do what I'm showing you. You know, have you ever noticed I don't pause, I don't skip, I don't do nothing. If I gotta go forward, like I'm gonna do here in a minute, you know, if I gotta go fast forward or something like that, or I might do in a minute, you know, or get to another point faster, I fast forward. Why? Because it's a way of me telling you the truth. Okay, with a way of me showing you that, you know, from ground zero to the end, that everything I did was right in front of you, and this is how it came out, and this is how it was. Whenever you're watching these headlight restoration videos, and I don't give a fuck if these guys get mad because I'm telling their little lying ass secrets, because they're just whack anyways, right? When they show you do this, and the camera cuts and goes to another scene, and do this, and the camera cuts and goes to another scene, and like, I did this, and camera cuts, and this took this long to do this headlight restoration, and the camera cuts and the camera cuts, and it goes to here, and the sun changes in the background, and like, they're lying, okay? Because think about what's going on when the camera cuts, okay? They stop recording, it did something else, or they cut out what did something else, and they're saying it only took this long, but you had 17 breaks in the video, or I do this here, and then I do this here, but you had 16 breaks in the video. A 2-minute video, right? So I don't have any breaks in mind, just so I can show you that there's no flim flam, and that's why people like this channel, right? And that's why I wanted to put it out there that way, because it's 100% honest and 100% the truth, and people are attracted to this channel because I'm telling the truth. I'm showing you everything. These guys that are hiding this, and I made this stuff here to put on your lights, right? Like, okay, then what is it made out of? Where can I buy it? What's in it? You know, if you made it, like, if I made this Meguiar shit, or if I made this drill or whatever, and, you know, whatever, I'd be telling you everything it was made out of. But I didn't, so I don't know. I mean, you can research and figure it out, but You know, what I'm saying is pretty much I'm just honest, and that's why I don't do breaks too much. I don't pan over from here into the next scene, into that scene. What you see is what you get. And a lot of people, you know, and even some people are like, oh, why didn't you just split it up and, you know, make it a shorter video, this, that. That's the main reason right there, because I'm trying to show you what is done and how long the process takes, what it looks like step by step, every second, every minute of the process from beginning to end. I have nothing to lie about. I'm giving to you 100% the truth, 100% the truth, and, you know, factual, and this is what it is. Okay, this stems from when I was educating myself and when I was going places and doing this training and doing that and doing this, and to better myself with being a headlight restorer or any other process. When I got on YouTube, it's a shocking trend where people are trying to like lie to people. And you already know that, especially with headlight restorations. I did this, I put the plug off, and look how it looks. Or I did the headlight with orange juice, and they pan off and next, and then I look at it, and it's like crystal clear. It looks like you know, 1/10 of what mine is, but it's still too clear for orange juice, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? And then there's these guys like, you can spray this and spray that. This is 2K clear. I'm gonna peel the label off the can, and I'm gonna hold my hand on it, you know, or cover the label or whatever, right? And it's like, if that's what it is, then why are you hiding it? What is the secret, right? Why aren't you telling us what it is? Like, you're trying to, my secrets, my headlight secrets. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. There's a guy on the internet called the Headlight Restoration Pro, and he's showing everybody how to do the shit, and he's better than you, so why are you hiding your shit? The Headlight Restoration Pro wants to know if he doesn't know, but of course he knows exactly what it is. So I'm not going to go as far as, you know, telling people all that shit, but I'm just saying, like, this is 100% true, honest channel here. If you want to be lied to, I guess you can go somewhere else, you know, watch a shorter video of some bullshit, and then see at the end that it doesn't look nothing like my headlights, right? And you know it to be factual. But anyways, here, I'm going to speed some of this up just to cut down the time in this video. Check it out. Okay, this was the typical hand sanding here on the bottom, and this top light, or the fog light, and the regular lights. I like to keep them concurrent, or, you know, running together, where I get them both to a certain point and then I continue. It's just easier that way. All the dry sanding first and then move on to the next couple steps. But anyways, let me take this out of warp mode real quick and check this out. By the way, it is 109 degrees right now while I'm working on this car. This is my new little gadget here. It's a neck fan, and it blows. See those little triangles? Blows a lot of air out those triangles in case you're hearing a little extra fan motion in there. And check it out. It not only keeps dust and stuff from flying in your face for the most part, but it just blows, like, it blows good. It keeps your head cool. My head always gets hot when I'm doing headlight restoration, and it really helps with that. So check that out. It's in the bio. You know, just another gadget. It's working out for me good. I've used it twice already, and I'm using it right now during this video, and it's keeping me really cool. But anyhow, hitting them both with that dry sand, with the P800. Very smooth, light touching that you want to do with that. You know, strokes up and down, left and right. You don't want to do any kind of circles or no weird stuff like that, because they are embedded harder and easier to, you know, not control your depth or your pressure on your hands when you're doing a circle motion. And you'll end up with scratches and swirls that are harder to mask or eliminate at the end parts. Now hitting both of them, the actual light and the fog light, with the water and the 3000 Trizac pad. Make sure they're all nice and smoothed out. Hitting them with the glass cleaner, and if possible, people, you should be using a ammonia-free glass cleaner. It's like splitting hairs. This Perfect Glass is ammonia-free, and it doesn't damage certain stuff. Technically, ammonia is not the best thing to use, but really you're using it so briefly it doesn't matter. It's like using distilled water or sink water. It's really not going to matter. You're not drinking it. It's not a big, huge deal on this, okay? You're using it briefly, using it one time, and then you're doing this step, which doesn't matter because it's not just going to adhere and stick there or anything like that, so it doesn't matter. But, if possible, if you have them sitting right there and you're saying, hey, I'm purchasing this right now, let me get an ammonia-free one, that's, might as well do it, right? So anyhow, that is an ammonia-free one, that perfect glass. That's what I choose to use. I have some other ones that I've used in the past, the chemical guys and all this stuff like that, but right now that's what I'm using. See that dab method that allows you to push a little bit of that compound deep into those caverns of the polycarbonate. Once again, the polycarbonate surface looks like a woven blanket, something like this. If not, some varieties look like a sponge, something like this. Okay, there's little pockets in there. If you want to know more about that, check out this video here. Okay, this video here is extremely informative about this method and the science behind this method. Okay, and it's particularly in this step right here, or primarily at this step right here. Because a lot of people get confused. They think the surface of a headlight is the same thing as the surface of a vehicle, whether it's paint or clear coat, and it's pretty much like Mars and Earth. They're just two different freaking planets, or Venus and Earth. They're just, Venus and the sun is two different things. They look the same. They're circles and they're out in space, but, or they're little balls and they're out there in space, but it's not the fucking same thing, okay? A lot of people misconstrue that, especially educated people like, car enthusiasts, or let's say even professional people like auto body people think they're the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. You've been to school for auto body, or you got trained for auto body. It's not the same freaking thing. I've done both, and I do both, so I'm just saying. But check this out. Look how crystal clear this is coming already. This is beautiful, and like I said, I would just want to reiterate and make sure everybody knows you should never spray your lights, no matter what substance you're using or whatever you're doing. You should never spray your lights when they're foggy. People like that magic trick, and they're like the can back and forth, and it turns it like from that foggy white that you can't see through to that clear, ness like this. No, you don't want that. It's cute. It's a little uneducated magic trick, but you do not want that, because it's going to do all kind of havoc to your headlights in the future with cracking and doing things like that. And it's also going to hinder your headlight output, or your actual lighting output, by dozens of yards, okay? Which is a lot when you're driving 60 miles an hour and you're lacking 30 to 50 yards of light. It's a huge difference, okay? But not only that, headlight health is going to be shit in the toilet. And once again, that video that I just suggested that you watch, this one here, is going to be very informative about that, okay? And it explain to you a little bit more. And there's some other videos up there that I will explain to you a little bit more about that as well. Just basically think of if you're spray coating let's say a glass surface, okay? Imagine how that sits on a glass surface. Nice, slick, one sheet, right? No weird little stuff going on, just a nice little line or linear, sheet of something that dried to the glass, right? Now imagine spraying the shit on a sponge. What would happen? That's right. All those little drips and caverns get filled with the bullshit, okay? Now, tell me, Common Sense Club, you must know that would make some kind of difference. And use your common sense. Would that be a positive difference, or would that be a negative difference? Exactly. You don't need to know all the science behind it sometimes to use common sense. Okay, common sense will help you understand. Common sense is what keeps you alive, what's kept the human race alive, what keeps people alive in general. Common sense, oh, it's fire, don't touch it, or it's they're shooting over there, better not walk over there right now. Like, just common sense, you know what I'm saying? You don't always have to have all the science behind it, but at the same time, I'm gonna give you all the science behind it. Watch that video and it'll blow your mind. With that being said, always use the right tools for the right thing if it makes sense, or if it fits. Okay, if they had a headlight sander or a headlight drill, okay, of course I'm gonna start using that shit more than likely, right? if they come out with the headlight polisher, which this one is technically kind of made for the one I just used, the AC Delco. It's used for other stuff, but it is primarily almost designed for polishing headlights. Okay, but you know, if they had a drill that was made for headlights, this and that, for some reason, this and that, I'd probably use it. Okay, or whatever the fuck, right? This product here is made for headlights. Okay, it's designed by scientists and people who know about things, you know, for headlights. Okay, you know, it has certain stuff in it to you know, make it good for headlights and make it work correctly for headlights. Things like the transparency factor is through the roof, where some things, you know, where if you put a 2K clear on something or substance, it is not, because it's not designed to be transparent. It's designed to be translucent, which is, it's a different level of see-through. Like clear coat on a car is designed to be translucent to see the paint underneath. It's not designed to be photo transparent. All right, it's not to be designed for light to be pushed through or to physically like see through like a window. It's not designed that way. It's a difference. Okay, and check this video out here, and that'll keep these videos I'm suggesting here are more some of my more scientific videos. Okay, I don't even think they have headlight restoration in there. They might, you know, have a little bit of something or whatever, but it'll explain to you how these things work and why they work or whatnot. And then also, you know, this video here is a good one to watch. It's about the spraying that I'm doing right now, why you should never double coat, which you see a lot of these guys do. They're going to do this, they're going to tack off, and they're going to, you know, because the first layer is penetrating, you know, all these little holes or whatever, and then they kind of do a light buff off, you know, or tack off or whatever, and then they spray another layer on to make it clear, to kind of bond to the other layer. You know, adding the clarity aspect of it, which is similar to what I used to do before I found out it messes up headlights. All right. So anyhow, with that being said, of all the headlight restorations that you've seen or whatever, now tell me two things. This is the biggest motherfucker you've seen, right? These headlights are so big, it's insane. These headlights are so big. It takes a long time to do one car because they're so big. You gotta think, they're coming with the surface area of 3 headlights or 2 large headlights, right? So, you know, plus with the bottom lights, that's even more. That's another thing. But the other thing I wanted you to tell me is anybody else's shit this clear? There's a couple guys out there. Okay, there's a couple guys I've ran into in real life, and then there's a couple guys I've seen out there. There's a guy from England, somewhere out there. You know, I don't. He does real good headlight work. You know, there's a couple guys on the internet that I've seen that do headlight work on this level, and their methods are probably a lot different than mine. So I'm not the only one, but I'm saying, far as user friendly, without having to have a shop and all this crazy stuff and all this and that. You know, that you can take it to the moon. I could take this and do a headlight restoration of this level on the moon. You know what I'm saying? I could take this to Pluto and do a headlight restoration like this. I just need one bag. You know what I'm saying? One bag of these fans right here in my stool. You know what I'm saying? To fit in half of my trunk. You know? So I'm just saying, like, it's very user friendly and it's very inexpensive. And if you think of how much these headlights cost, you know, hundreds of dollars, you know, for a fraction of that, you can have all these things. You know, it's highly worth it. But here's the other side. Here's how messed up this side is. And this side isn't as messed up because, once again, pro tip, I always do the messed up side first. Why? Because it makes it that much easier to do the easy side, right? The less messed up side. So this side was worse than the other side, and it usually runs like that. There's usually, it's rare if you have an equal amount of wear on each side, just because patterns, you know, a lot of things end up on the right, a lot of things end up on the left, as far as while you're parking, as far as how you're driving. It's just patterns. But look at how this one came out. Perfect. Now that goes to show you the consistency level of not just my skill, because I'm not tooting my own horn. This is for you guys' benefit. You know, this is why I don't show myself. I don't care about fame or whatever. I'm getting my message out there. This is the future of headlight restoration. Now look how perfect this one is. Just the same. Identical. You too can achieve this. Make sure to subscribe.
The Headlight Restoration Pro.
top-notch quality.
High-performing headlights can help a driver identify a potential hazard in just 2 seconds, while it could take up to 6 seconds with poor lights.
Perfect.